everybody, it's Gina from Orchid and Opal Jewelry and Beads. I'm here today with another tutorial. This one is one I'm calling the Reversible Lucerna Bicone Bracelet. And I came up with this design because I was trying to find a way to creatively use these Lucerna Bicones. These are check glass 6mm Lucerna Bicones. And I had gotten several different colors on the dollarbeadbox.com website through their subscription box. I ended up buying more because I really like the shape, and I wanted to find a new way to use them in a bead weaving type project that wasn't too difficult. And as a bonus, it also includes a lot of the 3mm and 4mm fire polish beads. If you are a subscriber of the Dollar Bead Box monthly subscription, you know that if you get the bag add-on, especially, you get a lot of these 4mm check fire polish beads and a lot of the 3mm check fire polish beads, and you end up with quite a stash. So this bracelet uses both of those items along with some seed beads, and it's not very difficult, and you end up with this pretty interesting pattern, and it's actually reversible. So not only does it look good from this side and from all sides actually, but it also looks good if you wanted to wear it on this side as well. So I think it's a pretty unique design, and I'd love to show you how to make it. So let's get started. To make a bracelet that's about 7.5 inches, you're going to need about 26mm check glass Lucerna Bicones. You'll need 58 4mm fire polished check glass beads, and I have two different colors here. You're welcome to use one color, or you can split them and then use two colors like I'll be showing you on the video. You'll also need 54 3mm check glass fire polish beads, and again, I'm showing two colors here. You can split those into two or just use 54 of one color. You'll also need some 11/0 seed beads in a coordinating color of your choice. You'll need some fire line or bead stringing line of your choice. I'm using the 4-pound fire line in the crystal color. And you'll also need your clasps, or whatever type of clasp that you want to use. I like a toggle clasp for a bracelet, split or jump rings, a beading needle, some scissors, and of course some jewelry pliers would be helpful. So the first step to this tutorial is you'll want to string onto a beading needle approximately 6 or 7 feet of fire line or the beading thread of your choice. So I've done that, and I'm getting to the end of my line, and we are going to leave about an 8-inch tail so that we can go back and weave this in at the end and just reinforce our bracelet. So once you have your needle strung, you want to pick up 4 of one of the colors of your 4mm fire polished beads. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm picking up 4, and to make it easier, I like to pick up a jump ring or a split ring at this point, and that way we won't have to attach it later. It'll already be there so that when we're ready to attach our clasp, we don't have to worry about it. And I've broken beads before trying to add a split ring on at the end, and we all know how frustrating that can be when you're at the end of a project and something like that happens. So get 4 of your 4mm strung on, along with a split or jump ring if you'd like, and then you're going to go back through the first bead that you put on, and you're going to go back through all 4 of the beads like that, and then pull it, and it's going to make a loop. And this is going to make one of those loops that's at the end of the bracelet, and it'll form once you go back through that first bead again, and this just reinforces it as well. So you should end up with a little loop that looks like that. And I'm actually going to go through the beads again just to give it some more strength and stability. So go ahead and do that, and then you'll be coming out of any one of those 4mm beads. I'll probably go through just one more like that, and this is where we'll continue and start the pattern of our bracelet. So we're going to be starting on one side of our bracelet, and as I said before, this is a reversible bracelet. So the side that we're starting out on is going to be this side right here. And we already strung on our 4mm fire polish beads in a split ring, and so we're ready to start our pattern. And to do that, we want to string on one of our bicones, our other 4mm. If you're using another color, go ahead and string on the other color, another bicone, and we're going to go back through and make another loop. So this side of the bracelet is going to be a succession of different loops linked together until we get to the end, and then we're going to continue with the other side. But first, let's tackle this side. So you have your loop like this. You're coming out of one of your 4mm beads, and we're ready to string on one of our bicones, and then our other color 4mm, and another bicone. So you should have this on your needle, and coming out of your 4mm bead here, you can see you're going to go back up through the opposite side. So coming out of this side, you're going to go through this side of the 4mm and pull it nice and tight, like so. So you should have something that looks sort of like this. Now continue on with your needle, going through the bicone next to it, and then going down through the new 4mm bead that you just put on, like so, and pull it nice and tight. So you see what we have here. And then to continue, you don't have to flip it, but I tend to like to work from this angle. We're going to be adding on 3 more of this same color, the second color, 4mm bead. Okay. So I have 3 more on my needle. We're coming out of this side of the 4mm, and we want to go back through the opposite side. Okay. So pretty simple so far. So we have this, and we're going to be going down through the next 4mm that's next to where our thread is coming out. And again down through the next one, so that we're coming out of the 4mm that is at the very end of our bracelet. So there you go. And now we repeat the step that we did with the bicones. So add a bicone. This time add your first color, 4mm, if you're doing 2 colors, and another bicone coming out of this side of the 4mm, and we want to go up through the opposite side, creating another loop. So you should have something that looks like that. Now go through that bicone that's right next to where your thread is already coming out, and then up through the next 4mm that is on the end. And you can see, and pull nice and tight, how nicely this shape is coming along. And so to continue the pattern, you're going to add on 3 more of the 4mm beads in that first color. Okay, so we have 3 more beads coming out of the top. We're going to be going through the opposite side, just like that, and pull nice and tight. just like we did before, go through the next 4mm bead next to the thread that is coming out, and then down through the 4mm bead on the very end before you start adding your next beads. You have your thread pulled nice and tight, and this is the pattern that you have. So you'll continue with this pattern to make a 7.5-inch bracelet, or approximately that size. You'll be using 20 of these bicones, so you'll have 10 sets of bicones in your bracelet. So if that's the size you want to make, we'll continue on until you have those sets done, and we'll meet back and we'll complete our other end of the loop with the split ring together. So continue this pattern as long as you'd like to make your bracelet. So of course the next steps here would be to add another bicone, your second color of 4mm check fire polish, and another bicone, and going through this bead right here on the opposite side. Alright everybody, so if you've gotten your bracelet to the length about that you want it, you want to end your bracelet the same or similar way that you started it. So it doesn't matter which color you're on. I happen to be at the same color that I was when I started. It will depend on how many loops that you do in succession, depending on, how long you wanted to make your bracelet. Anyway, we're going to end on a similar loop of 4 4mm fire polish beads. So at this point, I'm going to string on my last 3 along with another split ring, so I don't have to worry about that later. And again, we're going to go through, whoops, I lost my beads. We're going to go through that last 4mm bead through the opposite direction and pull our beads nice and tight like that. So it already looks like a pretty cool bracelet, and at the end I like to reinforce it again a little bit, so I'm just going through the next few fire polish beads at the end in a loop, and I'm gonna just continue that 1 or 2 times so that we can continue to reinforce our bracelet, because you really can't do that enough. Okay, just like that. And so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to be coming out of one of our bicones to continue the next stage of our bracelet. So get your needle to a point where you're going through the rest of your fire polish on the end. We're going to go down through this fire polish here that's next to our bicones so that we can hide our thread as best as possible. And then I'm going to come through this bicone right here. So that's the one that I'm coming to next. So get your needle to be coming out of that point after you've reinforced your piece to where you're comfortable. I'm just going to set it down. So now we're ready to get to the next phase of our bracelet. So we've done this side, and what we're going to be doing is working on the sides next. So to do that, you're going to be stringing your 3mm fire polish beads between each of these bicones on each side. And you can see here I also use 2 colors. I like to alternate those. So you'll want to decide which color you want to use first that would go with your 4mm beads, and just alternate those down the sides. So since I have the darker purple 4mm in between these bicones to start with on my bracelet, I think I'm going to go with the lighter purple to start with, and that way it'll kind of alternate the pattern a little bit. So coming out of one of your bicones on the side, you're going to pick up 3 of your 3mm beads in whichever color you'd like, and you're going to just go through the next bicone that you come to. Okay, and pull that as tight as you can, just like that. And since I did my light purple, I'm now going to go to my dark purple, string on 3 more, and go through the next bicone. Just like that. So you can see what we're starting to get here. And as usual, keep your string as tight as reasonably possible. And we're going on to the next. So I got 3 of the light color since I'm alternating, and I'm going to go through the very next bicone. Just like that. And you can see my my tail thread was kind of getting in the way, and it's up to you. You can go ahead and you can weave this back in to your bracelet. What you want to do is just stick a needle on the end of your tail and just follow the thread path and go through your beads. Maybe make, well, definitely make a couple of knots, so make a couple little half-hitch knots along the way and go through a few more beads, make another little knot, go through a few more, and that will keep that end of your bracelet nice and secure. And so I usually do that just to get that tail thread out of my way, because it does tend to get kind of garbled up in your project when you're trying to work, so it can be a tad bit annoying. So that's just a little suggestion. So then I'm going to add on 3 more dark beads, go through the next bicone, and then 3 light, going to set it down so you can see where I am. So you can see those 3mm on the side, just like that. Just alternating colors. And I'm going to continue with you because this does not take very long at all. Focus. We're on the light. I like using multiple colors because I feel like it gives the bracelet more depth. I think it would look beautiful just using one color of the 4 or the 3, but I have so many different colors from my subscription boxes that I get that it's nice. I do have the option. I'm sure a lot of people who are avid beaders, and especially the ones that get the dollar bead box subscription, have quite a few of the fire polish beads in the 3 and 4mm sizes. So why not, you know, put some other colors together and add more depth to the piece. Alright, so I'm at my very last bicone on this side. You can see how it looks so far. And now I just want to do the other side. So I'm coming out of this bicone on the end, and I'm going to go through that 4mm bead and then the next bicone so I can get my needle on the other side and continue the pattern. There we go. just like that. So continue on the other side just like you did this side, alternating the colors. So I'll be using the light color here just like I did on the opposite side, and continue until you get to this last bicone on your other side, and we will meet back. Alright, so we're at the point of the bracelet where we've finished one side. We've got our 3mm on both sides going between the bicones, and you want to lay your piece down and then kind of squeeze the 3mm on the sides so that they pop up a little bit like that, so that they are more on top rather than off to the side. That will just kind of help everything get into place as we go to the next steps. And I have my thread coming out of this bicone right here, and I'm going to pull it nice and tight, and at this point my suggestion is to make a little half hitch knot right there where you're coming out, and that will just keep your beads that you've strung so far, you know, tight in place how you want them, a little bit better. And it's just kind of a extra little precaution, probably not even necessary, but I like to do that. So I give it a nice pull, and you can see that our beads are on there nice and tight. So from here we'll go through this 4mm bead right here, and then through this bicone, and we'll continue on with the steps needed to finish our bracelet. And so we're just completing this side, and just to show you real quick what we're doing on this bracelet, you can see on the side that we will be adding 3 little 11/0 seed beads on the sides, as well as 2 more 4mm in place. So we're going to be popping those in on the other side that we're working on now. So now that we are coming out of our bicone, pull this, you're at the point where you want to pick up 3 seed beads. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then you're going to go through this 3mm bead on the opposite side. Okay. So there's your 3 seed beads in place right on the side. And you're coming out of this point right here in between these 2 3mm beads. And then you'll want to pick up one of your 4mm fire polish, and I'm going with the same color that I used on the other side. So I'm going to pick up the dark purple, and I'm going to go through this 3mm bead right here on the opposite side. So we're coming out of this bead, putting on a 4mm, and then going through this 3mm on the opposite side this direction. And then we're going to pull that, and you can see that it popped that right in place in the center. And we're in place to add one more. So pick up another 4mm, and then go through this 3mm on the bottom. You go ahead and pull it, and it popped into place. So you should have something like this. Your needle's coming out of this 3mm here, and we're going to finish that off with another 3 seed beads. So pick those up, 1, 2, 3, and then go through the bicone on the opposite side, heading down your bracelet. And make sure everything's in place. Pull it nice and tight. And that's what you have. So we're basically doing the same thing all the way down the bracelet. And we're going to change colors And just make sure that your beads are all popped in the right direction so that they don't flip around on you like that when you're working. So from this point, we're going to pick up 3 more seed beads. And we're going to go through the 3mm on the opposite side, just one. Pull it. We're going to pick up a 4mm. We're going to go through the center 3mm on the opposite side. Pop it into place. Pick up another 4mm. And go through this bottom 3mm bead on the opposite side. Get that popped into place like so. And then pick up 3 more seed beads. And then go through the bicone on the opposite side. Like that. Pop everything into place and give it a strong pull. So it's looking good. So you should have this pattern on one side and this pattern forming on the other side. So let's continue on and pick up 3 seed beads. Go through the 3mm here at the bottom on the opposite side. Pick up a 4mm. Go through the middle 3mm fire polish on the opposite side. Make sure it's in place. Pick up another 4mm and go through the 3mm on the opposite side at the bottom. Pop that into place like so, and pick up 3 more seed beads. And then go through the bicone on the opposite side. Pull everything together and pull it snug, and there you have it. So just continue doing that all the way till you get to the very last set of bicones, and we'll meet back there and finish our bracelet. Alright guys, so you're at the end of your bracelet. You've done all your beading, and you can see that my thread is gone, and that's because I filmed the entire end of this video, clasp and all, and I didn't realize that my camera stopped filming because it was notifying me my battery was low. So unfortunately, I wanted to show you, and I thought I was, you know, me just reinforcing this and knotting everything off, but I think you can figure that part out. If you've you know, gotten this far, you know that to finish it off you'll just need to reinforce with whatever you have left. You can just tie a little knot here, go around the loop is what I did, and then made another little knot. I went down a few more beads, made another knot, went through some more beads, flipped it over, and then kind of kept weaving my string through as much as I felt like I wanted to. And you can do that as much as you want to. I suggest making at least about 3 knots along the way, and then stringing through and hiding your knots. And that will just strengthen your bracelet. And the more you do that, the stronger it'll be. So feel free to go a little crazy with that if you want to. So once we're done with that, you can cut the thread off and you're left with this bracelet. And I'm very, very pleased with it. I love the colors. I love the way it feels. And I hope you're pleased with yours as well. I bet there's some really amazing color combinations out there. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add on a jump ring to my split rings on each side. So I'm going to add a jump ring right here with my pliers, and then I'm going to add on one side of my toggle clasp. And if you have another set of pliers, that can be helpful so that you can close your jump ring. If you're using split rings, you don't have to worry about that, but it may be a little harder for you to open them, so you may want that handy split ring tool. So that's one side. And then on the other side, I'm going to add another jump ring to this split ring. And then the other part of my toggle clasp, I'm going to come in with my other pliers and close it like so. Alright, so there you have it. Really nice bracelet. And I'm going to put it on so you can see how it looks. Okay, there we go. Look at that. I'm really happy with it. And you can flip it over and wear it on the other side if you'd rather do that. That's the beauty of this bracelet being reversible. So, fun project. I hope this helped you. Feel free to post any pictures of anything you've made from my tutorials on my Facebook page, Orchid and Opal Jewelry. And, you know, hopefully this helped you, give you some ideas on what to do with all those Lucerna Bicones and your fire polish beads that you're probably collecting. And, you know, maybe you could even jump off of this idea and create your own idea. So, lots of endless possibilities out there for what you could do. And I just want to thank you for being here with me and appreciate you joining me during my beading, and hope that everything turned out well for you. Feel free to leave me a comment letting me know, or letting me know if you have any questions. If nothing else, I will see you on my next video. Bye, guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I would also love for you to follow me on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and Etsy, Orchid and Opal Jewelry. Thanks for watching!